Hello everyone, Darshan Maharaja with you. Earlier in the week, I posted a video of my question to conservative leader Pierre Poilievre about the housing crisis and how the increasing population of Canada impacts on that. My question was whether reducing that intake of immigrants, work permit holders, international students, and I didn't mention it, but refugees also are included in this. Whether reducing that overall number can be part of the solution to our housing crisis. And his response drew a lot of reaction on YouTube as well as on Twitter. And in fact, I was surprised because the YouTube video is now at over 8,000 views. And a lot of the people that I saw reacting were of the view that he should make it abundantly clear right now that he is in favor of reducing the intake that we have. Currently, I mean, for last year, it was 1.2 million in 2022. Current year, we are expected to match that number, if not exceed it. And for the record, my personal opinion is that we uh, need to reduce that number primarily because the new arrivals are most heavily and negatively impacted by the imbalance in our housing situation. So that is my view. But regardless, I can see why Pierre Poilievre gave the reply that he did. Basically, my view is that conservative party and conservative leader is always facing a purity test. The one that we are all familiar with is, every day in our face, which is for every smallest thing, they have to keep issuing explanatory statements that they are not in favor of this or that. For example, a T-shirt that someone happened to be wearing with certain words on it, and then Mr. Poilievre was forced, in my view, to issue a statement saying that he doesn't agree with that kind of message. This is, I mean, at a different level, but even at the level of introducing a bill in parliament that would have made it an aggravating factor for in cases where a woman was the victim of an assault. If she was pregnant at the time, it would have made it an extra aggravating factor. And this was interpreted into being a dog whistle for creating or preparing ground for introducing a law on abortion down the line. So these are the purity tests that the Conservative Party and specifically a Conservative Party leader has to fight or pass on an ongoing basis. But on the other side, there is this conservative purity test where the conservative leader has to, at all times, say things that make sense to the conservative base. And if he doesn't, or if he sidesteps the issue or whatever, then it falls afoul of the conservative base or some in the conservative base, to be fair. So, this is another purity test as I see it. And I can see, despite my personal opinion, that the intake of newcomers to Canada needs to be reduced. Despite that opinion, I can see why Mr. Poilievre sidestepped the issue because he needs to conserve his energy and his resources. He doesn't want to fight this battle right now. And even when a conservative leader does issue an unequivocal statement, what happens down the line is something that we don't know. For example, in the case of the previous conservative leader, Erin O'Toole, he signed a pledge with much fanfare that he will scrap the carbon tax, which gave the impression that carbon tax and whatever carbon pricing, whatever you want to call it, will be a thing of the past if and when Mr. O'Toole became the prime minister. But come election time during the campaign, he issued his own carbon policy, which, in my own words, was more statist than the liberal anything that the liberals could have come up with. It was absolutely horrendously overreaching the state apparatus into the personal lives of individuals. So, in addition to having a cost we were also going to have vastly more intrusion of the government. So, I was completely against it. But my point here is that what a conservative leader says now is should not be so much in focus, because we have to realize that he has to allocate his resources, and he doesn't want to devote too much of his resources on fighting a battle that is he's bound to be on losing ground there. I mean, regardless of all the evidence that we see out there in real life, where housing is becoming more and more unattainable, even on rental. You are seeing, I mean, I am seeing here in Brampton, 10 or 15 international students living in one basement. I don't even call that living in that basement. They are just having a mattress space. So, despite all that evidence, the moment he says that this number needs to be reduced, the bloodhounds will be let loose on him. He doesn't want that kind of a battle right now. So, these are my thoughts that it's a purity test that we expect the prime minister to be, or, intending to be, to pass at every step, on every day, on every occasion. But he has his own reasons for not taking it on right now. And hopefully something will be done about this. But, castigating Mr. Poilievre for this answer right now is kind of an incomplete way of looking at things. I'll put it mildly here. But those were my thoughts, and I thought I'll share them with you. So let me know in the comments what you think about this as well. And we'll meet again soon. Until then, goodbye and take care.